The Horizons Software Starter Pack. I've had this cassette knocking around for years, being the tape bundled with new ZX Spectrums from their launch in 1982. It's evidently the first tape I, and many other Spectrum owners, got their hands on. Only it wasn't. I'm talking absolute drain spout. I've just stolen the intro from Nostalgia Nerd's video on the same subject.
The Horizons Software Starter Pack. I've had this cassette knocking around for years. Being the tape bundled with the new ZX Spectrums from their launch in 1982, it's evidently the first tape I, and many other Spectrum owners, got their hands on.
You see, I didn't get the Horizons Software Starter Pack. I had a ZX Spectrum Plus 2. I got a pack of crap games that I still secretly love. I didn't get this magical journey into the world of Spectrum software that so many of you ancient old people got. I was young and full of energy and hopped up on Oh Mummy. So when a bloody patron comes along, this one, and they say, "Can you do me a video on the Horizons tape?" And I just go, "Yeah, nice one, sounds good," without thinking about it in any way whatsoever. I've got a predicament on my hands. Because the Horizons tape, in the year 2022, which, if you're unaware, is the year of now, is crap. It's really boring. It's so boring and so outside my wheelhouse that I had to steal Nostalgia Nerd's intro just to get my foot in the door.
But here's the thing. I've never even attempted to load it up, and I bet many other Spectrum owners are exactly the same.
Oh, right. Okay, well, apparently I'm not too far behind the curve, because it seems that the Horizons tape just wasn't that much of a draw for the average Spectrum user. Having gone through it, I can see bloody why. It's about as entertaining as a cabbage. But that's because I'm here, sat in my futuristic chair, on my futuristic computer, in the futuristic year of now, instead of the black and white times of then. So this is hard. This is a video where I have to sort of go and look at stuff through rose-tinted glasses that I don't even own. I have to look at it through other people's glasses. So that's exactly what I did. Why bother to formulate my own opinions and pretend I like something when I can just get the internet to do all the work for me? I went to Twitter, the place where all level-headed people congregate, and I asked folk what their experiences of the Horizons tape were when they first received it. I didn't mention how old they must have been to have played this on first release, because that would have been rude, but I was definitely thinking that when I typed it. So old. Unlike me, nearly 40 years young and with only slight heart murmurs. There were a lot of responses. First up, a couple of hints that the Horizons tape is actually some kind of omnipresent piece of software that lands in everyone's laps eventually. Lee McCat says, "In about 2000 to 2001, I bought up as many big collections of Specky games I could on eBay. I ended up with 26 of these and 22 chess." Blogos Pow says, "I didn't have a Spectrum, but somehow ended up with a copy." And a lot of the comments that did start to trickle through were initially as pithy as my own initial response to the software. When I got this with my Specky, it was competing with Robin of the Wood and Hypersport, so it never got a look in. I might have played Breakout a couple of times, but that was it. Whenever I need something to help encourage a larger-than-average turd to make its way further down its toilet adventure, the Horizons tape is always my go-to tool. Has been for years. Go on, try it. It's totally fit for purpose. Alright, calm down, Gary. Your opinions have already been fired into the sun since the whole Kong debacle. It didn't take long for some really lovely opinions to start turning up. And this is really what I was looking for. I wanted people to give me the nostalgia that I didn't have. And so, stop the tape! It wasn't just the educational and otherwise games, it was the excellent intro to the Spectrum as well, with typing tutorials for the keywords, how the system worked with its component parts, etc. It was utterly magical for someone like me. And I can well imagine that would be the case. You see, a lot of what people don't realise, especially in the early 80s, is that just having something interactive on the screen, something that you loaded from a cassette tape no less, was a totally different world. Depending on the age at which you got this, the Horizons introduction tape was actual edutainment, even though it didn't really try to entertain in any real way outside one program. The whole thing is as dry as a cracker picnic on a Spanish beach. These things at the time were a great way of introducing what was possible, and also a great way to prove to your parents it's not a waste of time owning a computer, says Daff, bizarrely quoting herself because I think she briefly lost the plot. She was right though, this tape was supposed to be a brief mixture, an introduction, a quick, "Here you are sir, this is what your Spectrum can do, thank you and good night." Once you're done with the tape's initial introduction to the Spectrum, there are several other programs to delve into, each of which seems to have landed in the deep, long-term memory of my self-quoting Twitter nutcases. Checkered flag! Shouts Dale, confusingly, because there is no game called Checkered Flag on the Horizons tape, but I give him an A for enthusiasm. Moving away from Dale's enthusiasm for a second, the largest amount of comments I got about the Horizons tape was for the first item on the deliciously basic menu, the confusingly shortened Throw the Wall. That's because this is the only thing on the tape that could possibly be considered a game, all things told. The rest are just sort of things. Throw the Wall is as basic as you can get in terms of an actual game, a simple Arkanoid clone that sort of just does what Arkanoid does, but very, very basically. I mean, it's almost impossible to talk about because, well, look at it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Loaded them all. Forgot about Through the Wall, which held my attention for 10 minutes, but then realised Psst was a much better game. Eyeballs. Lee Smethurst there trying to get a dig in because I said Psst only has about 10 minutes of gameplay in it and he's very upset about that. But aside from his passive-aggressive eyeball emoji, he's right. There is, at most, 10 minutes of entertainment here. Even that might be a stretch. However, Throw the Wall was a family favourite, although the spelling of through was always problematic for me. My mum and dad spent a lot of time playing that, turning my specky into a family activity. Other than that, I have fond memories of exploring the Horizons tape on day one. Throw the Wall, the only game my parents actually know and remember. I remember staring at Evolution for a long time. Throw the Wall is the standout. First program on side A. He means B. Trying to knock out that last half brick was character building. And they're not bloody wrong about that. I got to this point. I just gave up instead. But you can see here just how much love there is for something so damn simple. In a lot of cases, this was the first game, or one of the first, a lot of people got to experience in their own homes. Sure, it might not have had longevity, but the memories stick around. There's a fondness there that's equal parts sickening and understandable. I played the Brick and Ball game for hours and hours. I loved it so much. If you love it so much, why don't you marry it, Robin? I guess this is the thing with childhood sweethearts, isn't it? At the time, you don't think love can get any better, but then you grow up and look back, and that girl you were besotted with when you were 14 is actually a boring Arkanoid clone. We've all been there, Robin. Probably my most used tape, the disturbingly named Through the Wall, was probably the first colour computer game I played at home. Trying to make a hole at one end to get the ball to bounce behind the wall was my mission in life. But the best thing on the tape was the character generator. In our budding homemade games phase, we could create our own IP-infringing Space Invaders games. Once that was mastered, we naturally moved on to the incredible Sex Invaders. The protagonist ship taking the shape of a classic cock and balls. Okay. It's too early for cock and balls, so let's just leave it there. Through the Wall. It's practically impossible to understand the connection people had with it when you're sat here looking at it in this day and age, but people would say the same thing to me about Oh Mummy. That's also basic and ugly and crap, but I still look at it the same way these poor people look at their beloved rubbish, and that just warms my young, handsome bones. Moving on then, we have Bubble Sort. It's an algorithm. But not the kind of algorithm that human robots use to make you hate foreigners. The kind of algorithm that makes you sit and watch as it sorts through some cards and sorts them into numerical order. Surely no one's got anything good they can say about this. I remember a card game named Bubble Sort. Is that right? Playing cards coming to life on the TV was strangely exciting, but I was disappointed when a king was turned over and it was just a big expanded K. There's always one, isn't there? Now, I know what you might be thinking here. Dan Tootle, the man, the myth, the legend, and yes, Dan Tootle, the man, the myth, the legend.
Gods is a really worthwhile purchase. I think it deserves a place in every Super Nintendo owner's collection.
Blink if you need help, Dan. I honestly don't think he can. Bless him. Dan is probably right though, even though I think he's the only person in the history of the world that even remembers this program. Back in the 80s, you had the choice of a couple of TV channels, or you can stick your Spectrum in and watch a computer put cards in the correct order. You could pick up a book and read that maybe, but that takes a lot of effort when you could look at these cards. Look, I'm not doing a great job here, but I can assure you that I sort of understand a little bit where he's coming from. 80s kids were really caught in the halfway house where even the exciting things were pretty boring. It's just what we grew up with. Next up, foxes and rabbits. Foxes and rabbits! Yeah, thanks, Mattioli 2. I'm not sure what to do with that information, but I assume he likes it. Jake Warren went on to some actual words for this one. I spent ages on foxes and rabbits, changing the values so that the graph would go off the screen and it would need to redraw. That was how exciting my life was in the 80s. You can sense a theme here, right? All of us were bored and deprived of any joy. It's raining outside, you've already read this week's Beano. What else is there to do other than make a ZX Spectrum draw graphs? This program is essentially a recreation of the foxes versus rabbits population chart. You can fiddle about with the numbers and it plots those, and yeah, that's it really. If you didn't immediately record over this shitfest with some data worthy of being stored onto a cassette tape, Ocean's Kong immediately springs to mind, then there is definitely something fundamental. Who the bloody hell let Gary back in? Get him out of here!
Stop, man, I'm not...
Get out.
That's your mother answer.
Get out.
This is a nice video for nice people. I'll not have Gary trying to snatch the nostalgia I don't have away from me, the little bugger. Next up, it's another simulation, and this one is Life. It's one you probably recognise for being on every computer system in existence. I remember Life. I played around with it and then became a bit obsessed. Read all about Conway, tried lots of different patterns for the cells. I found it the most intriguing program on the tape. That's dedication, is that? Reading a book? John Davies is clearly too high class for this sort of video, but it's a good segue into opening up something that hasn't yet cropped up. The Horizons tape was, unsurprisingly, a bit of a catalyst for a lot of folks to get their hands into multiple different subjects. For John, it was reading a book about Conway and then making cells do different patterns on his spectrum, and presumably he later got a job as a biochemist. I don't know, I haven't asked him, but let's just assume that's the case. As we get to the arse end of the programs in this package, we start to move more into that utility aspect of the whole thing, although they're strangely spaced out. We have Draw, which is the 5th program, and Character Generator, which is the 7th program, but I'm going to lump these two together because they seem to attract the same crowd. Art nerds. Used Draw quite a lot until we got Art Studio. Used to steal a large writing code as well for basic games. Bleh. The Draw program on side 2 was my first introduction to graphic software. It blew my mind. It may not have been sophisticated, but it showed me that there was more to my little black box than just games. Yes, the art program is basic, but here's the thing. It's interactive. And when you've got a tape like this, one that barely lets you do anything other than watch graphs draw, this is like manna from heaven. Couple that with a character generator that let you make your own, well, let's be honest, cock and balls. Best part for me was reusing the machine code routine that made the huge / resizable letters on the screen. And presumably he was making something other than a sex-themed Space Invaders, although this was the 80s, so probably not. The general output here, though, is that people were buoyed enough by this Horizons package to dip their toe into the coding world. Now, I don't really know anything about coding, but I know a man who does. The wonderful Mr. James O'Grady, otherwise known as What Ho Snorkers. He runs a channel in which he takes typing games, gusses them up with some better gameplay, and also, he dresses up a lot. It's a bit like watching a channel you'd find on TV at 1 AM after you'd stumbled back from the pub. A kind of feverish dream of, what on earth is going on? And, oh, that's quite interesting. I challenged him to take a look at Throw the Wall, everyone's apparently favourite game ever made, and see if he could improve it. You can watch the full video of that on his own channel, which I'll link in the description below, but here's some highlights.
Settle down, class. I brought in the big telly today, because we're going to learn all about computers. So get out your textbooks.
Yo, sir, I don't understand this.
If you're interested in loading it in 128k mode, do not do that. It doesn't work, because Through the Wall uses machine code, and that does not play well with the 128k spectrum. There's no indication of your score, no indication of your lives. It is completely and utterly silent. I'm going to show you how to turn Through the Wall from what we have to start with into this. We've got sound, we've got colour, we've got multi-ball. We've also got the score at the bottom and how many times we've cleared. and I'm going to take you through this step by step.
Snorkers there, showing you how you could have improved your life if he was your best friend 30 years ago. We're not quite done yet though, folks. We have a couple other programs on the Horizons tape. Monte Carlo is a random dice simulator, and not, as Faster Productions was tricked into believing, a delightful racing game. We got stuck on life. It never came up with the prompt to load the next game, so it was years before we thought of just resetting and hitting load again. So the list of later programs was a what if that fired the imagination. My brother also managed to bullshit me that Monte Carlo was a racing game, which I pictured as being like pole position driving around a city. Imagine my disappointment when I finally did the load trick and it was a frigging card game. Well, it wasn't a card game, was it? It was dice! But I mean, yeah, this is it. It's literally a dice simulation. It's not surprising that the only comment I got about this thing is someone being tricked into believing it was something better and still forgetting what it actually was in the first place. Then lastly, we have waves. You make waveforms. No one commented about this. No one. So I guess we'll just reuse Dale's quote for this one. Checkered flag! Overall, the Horizons tape is what it is. In the year 2022, it holds absolutely no significance outside of the people who experienced it back when it was first given away with the Spectrum. It has lost the capacity to wow. It has lost the capacity to effectively teach. But it does have one thing going for it. The memories it left these people with, good or bad. Have, and hate to admit, that I thought this royally sucked. By the time I got to see this, I was a seasoned hex editor from other systems. Have to agree with others, the breakout game was kind of fun. First thing I loaded when I got the Specky, no real experience of computers before that, the repeated volume set correctly just made it more exciting, but when that rainbow screen loaded, then the planet, fuck me, that was just truly awesome, in the proper sense of the word. The whole lot at the time was just astonishing. Mind you, after I played other games that day, I'm sure Jetpack was one, apart from Through the Wall, the rest of it was dog shite. If future folk were to discover this abomination, they'd all think we were f***ing stupid. It's one thing Blue Peter burying time capsules full of shit in the backyard, but all copies of this travesty must be burnt. Jesus Christ, someone fetch Gary's medication, please.